And I want you to think about what success looks like for you. And this is a highly personal thing. I want you to think about what really matters to you. And I have a question that will help you do that. Before I do that, I want to explain why this is important. So I'm a great believer that our businesses should be vehicles to help us achieve what we want personally, not the other way around. You know, the danger is we set up our businesses, set up our agencies, and then I don't know, we do so for the freedom, right? It's one of the common reasons why we set up in business is the freedom to make our own choices. And suddenly we find ourselves 3 years in and the business is telling us what to do. It's telling us which clients to pick up, the hours that we work, and giving us perhaps a to-do list that we're not overjoyed about. And I think it should be the other way around. We should create businesses that help us achieve what we want personally. So if you want 2021 to be your best year yet, if you're really serious about this, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to look beyond 2021, because if we're just saying we're here, where do we want to be in 12 months time? We're only going to get incremental change, right? And I think we all deserve better than incremental change. I want to see some transformational changes in our agencies. And so what we need to do is, I believe, look 3 years out and create a very, very clear vision for 3 years time. Because what I love about 3-year visions is, well, first of all, it's far enough away from where we are now. It allows us to dream a little bit. We can think beyond our current constraints and we can say, well, actually, I want to achieve that thing there that might not seem possible in the next 12 months. But here's the other thing about 3 years, as well as it allowing us to dream, it's also close enough that we have to do something about it, right? There are only 12 quarters between now and 3 years time. 12 quarters, right? Think how quickly a quarter has gone. Think how quickly a year has gone. So there are 12 quarters between now and 3 years. So I love the fact that it's close enough as well. It's within touching distance. So it's a perfect time to plan for, and it will allow you to expand your thinking. Kelly, talking about it earlier, when you mentioned your positioning. This is absolutely critical. We run a ton of sessions at the AC on positioning. And the reason why is because, well, first of all, I've seen data on it. Agencies that get this right, agencies that can focus on a particular niche and carve out a place in the market, they grow quicker, they make more money, and they are more valuable. They're way more likely to be bought for a higher multiple than those agencies that just blend into the background. And none of us want to blend into the background, right? So the first question I have for you is, what do you want to be famous for? Like actually famous for? Think about this really, really carefully. There's an agency that went on this wonderful transition. When I asked them this question, they realized they didn't want to be famous for just doing websites for local people, mainly because that was bloody hard work and not very profitable. And they want to be famous. They wanted to lean on their internal comms expertise. They wanted to be famous for internal communications and making work a better place. And they went on this journey it's a never ending journey. They're still going. But they moved quite quickly, actually, by setting this longer term goal and shifting their mindset. They moved quite quickly away from these smaller, less profitable web builds to much more interesting work, working with big brands on their internal comms, doing some game-changing stuff. And it all started with that one question. So what do you want to be famous for? And then if you feel that you know that, then well, how far down this path are you? How far down the path are you to being the best in the world at what you do? Here's another thing when it comes to pricing I'm really passionate about. Another question we asked in this year's bench press report, again, we'll publish the results shortly, is I asked, how often do you discount without reducing the scope? And like literally take money off without changing the amount of work that you are doing. And I was really surprised at how many of us do that and the amount that we are willing to give away when it comes to discounting, because this is pure profit off your bottom line that you are giving away. We all need to stop doing this, right? These are our fees. These are the fees to do the job properly. And giving away our profitability causes much bigger problems than just taking on work, right? I know it's really tricky when times are tough, but taking on profitable work is not the solution. there has to be other ways to it. And discounting without getting something in return is a recipe for disaster. Now, some of the things that you can get in return, is Joe said it there. Well, look, if you want us to reduce the price, then we can reduce the scope. That's an obvious thing to do. Perhaps if you really have to reduce the price, then make sure that you get much more of that amount up front. Which is fine. We'll give you a 5% discount, but we want to pay that invoice 100% upfront within 7 days. Perhaps get some testimonials for them. Say, right, we want some testimonials, or we want to refer you to your network or to another department within the business, which could actually be much more than the discount you're giving away. But discounting for getting nothing in return is one surefire way for you to have or to not have a great 2021. I talked about pricing, I talked about not discounting and all of that leading to profitability. That's a lot easier to do if you have a full sales pipeline, right? We all know what that feels like where you don't have a full sales pipeline and I don't know, you don't have loads of projects on at the moment and you've got staff and wages and other bills to pay. And it can feel terrifying, right? Terrifying. So to help you be strong in those moments, we have to more than ever make sure that our pipeline is full. And that is why at the AC, we're running a ton of events to help you do that. Now, for the smaller agencies, I've got my top tip for you. I've seen time and time again. Every single one of us, in fact, whether you run a big agency or a small one, we need to allocate time to new business every single day. Ideally at the start of the day. It is the thing that we do at the start of the day, the most important thing to build momentum. And it might just be an hour a day or 90 minutes a day, but some work on LinkedIn or making a few phone calls or reaching out to your existing customers, asking for referrals or speaking to your agency partners, whatever it is that you need to do in order to move those conversations forward. Make sure at the start of each day, you're doing that every single day. Because if you leave it to the end, well, guess what? We know what happens, right? You start the day, there's this whirlwind of agency life that happens, and you get to the end of the day, you're really tired, and you go, it's all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And the thing about new business, proactive new business, is no one shouts at you if it doesn't happen. Like clients will shout at you or certainly tell you quite strongly if you don't deliver that project. Staff will tell you if things aren't going to plan, but kind of no one shouts at you don't do new business today because it's proactive. You've got to go out and make it happen. And so allocating time to do it every single day. If you're a multi-director business, one of the best things you can do is have one person responsible for this, solely responsible. The great thing to do if you're two directors, have one responsible for operations, one responsible for sales. Where those roles are kind of split, you're all just too nice to each other and there's no accountability. Sure, you'd probably be involved in each if you're a small agency, but to have clear areas of responsibility is really important.